Welcome back to the Blues Society of Northwest Florida's weekly podcast. I am your host, Paul Stadden, as always bringing to you cool interviews with the guests that we're going to be having at the Maritime Park, as well as the Blues Jams on Monday night at Lili Marlene's in Seville Quarter. And this week, I am honored to be joined by Studebaker John, a guitarist who has been playing the Chicago blues style for, well, practically your whole life, Studebaker. Welcome to the Blues Society podcast.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much.
Well, I'm really thrilled to have you here because I'm always fascinated to talk to fellow guitarists, and I'm always interested to hear their stories. And I'd like to hear you tell me about getting into guitar, why you chose that instrument, how you got into slide, who your influences were.
Well, it's pretty easy for me. I actually played harmonica first, and then I was in a band with a couple other guys. Basically, this is going way back to my grade school years.
Sure.
And we did all kind of stuff like, instrumentals by the Ventures and stuff like that.
Right.
And as I got older, as they got older, one of the guys was a couple of years grades ahead of me in school, and of course he left to go to high school, blah blah blah. So there's
right.
9 yards of. Anyway, the real after I did that, I continued to play drums in a couple other bands, and then I decided to switch over to my first instrument, which was harmonica.
Okay.
And start fronting a band and singing. And shortly after that, I witnessed a stunning performance by Hound Dog Taylor with J.B. Hutto sitting in, both slide guitar players.
Yeah.
And playing the regular tuned guitar was not really what I wanted to do, especially after that. I heard that, and I was like knocked out by it, and basically just decided that what a great combination that would make with the harmonica.
Right.
And so I started, trying to watch everything Hound Dog and J.B. Hutto did, and just trying to learn from watching them, basically. And that's how I did it. And basically just kept on and started writing, and and then I, started fronting my own band with both the harmonica first, and then both the slide and the harmonica.
Guess it was nice not having to do the construction work anymore after that point.
Well, it took a while. It wasn't overnight, I'll tell you that.
Well, let me ask you how your music got chosen. There's an independent filmmaker from Canada, Atom Egoyan, and forgive me if I'm mispronouncing his name, but he's chosen some of your songs for some of his movies like Calendar and Exotica. Tell me how that happened, how he got to be using your songs like that.
Well, I was playing in a club, actually, a club in Indianapolis, Indiana, called the Slippery Noodle. And this is the very early years of the Slippery Noodle. It's a bigger club now.
Right.
Has a bigger stage in the back, but it only had a small stage in the front at this time. And he happened to be in the audience one night.
Right.
And seen me perform, loved the stuff. And, I don't know, if I had a quarter every time somebody came up and said, "Hey, I'm this or that, and I want to put your music in a movie, or I want to do this or that," I'd probably be a very rich man right now. But so I didn't take it to no mind when this guy comes up to me and says, "Hey, I really like your stuff, and I'm a film producer, and I want to use some of your stuff in a movie." And I said to him, "Well, okay. CDs are $15.
Sure.
So I said, you could buy all of them if you want, or whatever ones you want,
Nice.
And so he did, because I was a little jaded, already at this point.
Right.
And seeing, that he might be telling the truth, or he might not, and probably not. So I figured, at least I could get, a few bucks out of it, right?
Nice.
So that was the story. And next thing I know, I'm getting a phone call from this guy, and he's telling me that, I really liked it, and these particular tunes would work really great with this new movie that I'm doing. And if you watch the film, if you ever watched the film Calendar, he uses my music in that film to perfection. I mean, it's just done so well.
Well, that's awesome. Well, let's talk a little bit more about your music, because you've got quite a few albums that have been released over the years. And I want to make sure that people know, first off, they can go to your website and get your CDs right now if they want to go on the internet, right?
Right.
What is your website?
StudebakerJohn.com.
Okay, you made it so darn complicated. StudebakerJohn.com. And you have, your latest album is the Kingsville Jukin', right?
That is true.
Okay, you guys have any plans for any new albums coming out anytime soon? Can you give us any sneak previews?
I've been I've been kind of just up in the air about what I should do next.
Okay.
I was thinking about doing a solo record.
Okay.
Which would be, because I do a solo show where I just play a harp and guitar and sing.
Nice.
And have a little floorboard that I kick on top of a Pepsi crate that sounds like a bass drum, basically.
Cool.
And I was thinking about recording a record just like that, because I've gotten more and more back into realizing the fact that I really like stuff is done on the spur of the moment, and I really like stuff that's done for real, not with tons of overdubs and everything having to be, letter perfect. Sometimes the best stuff is the raw stuff.
Yeah,
And to me, that always made a lot of sense. And although in today's world there's not a lot of people that agree, but I like analog tape better than digital.
Ah, okay, okay.
So the initial idea was to do an analog recording of myself with just two microphones playing and doing the solo. But then, other people were just suggesting that, well, why don't you do a best of record, or not a best of, or, something like that, Since I didn't have any hits, you couldn't say it was a greatest hits.
Oh, that's terrible. Come on.
Well, don't worry about it. Anyway, so, so I was thinking about that. And then the other thing is, other people were saying, well, hey, you never really did a live record. And that's true. I never really did a proper live record. So there's a couple ideas. However, we don't know. I'm still uncertain on what exactly I'm going to do, because this summer we've been touring a little bit, and it's been kind of busy.
Right. Well, let me ask you this. Do you prefer performing your own songs, or do you like doing covers more?
I don't do covers, to be honest.
Don't do covers at all? Not even on the Howlin Wolf? I figured there might have been one Howlin Wolf tune on there.
No, there's not.
It's all you.
That's actually, Howlin Wolf's song was actually Moaning in the Midnight or something like that. Howlin' in the Moonlight is my song. It's real similar. I pay tribute to these guys without just going through the motions of their songs, because you got a whole lot of people out there already doing that.
No, fair enough.
And I like to write, to be honest with you. I like to write. And that's not the first time I've done something to pay tribute to Wolf. There was one of the other songs, I believe it was on Evidence Records, was like a tribute to Wolf, and kind of similar to Howlin' in the Moonlight.
Nice.
In a couple of ways. But, the idea is to be like those guys, and that is that they played stuff, but they didn't play stuff so contrived that it was the same thing every night after night after night. And if you heard it once, well, you heard it, and you don't need to ever hear it again. You know what I mean?
I know exactly what you mean.
So, awesome. Those guys would sound different every night. Believe me, I heard them in clubs almost every night for a long period of time.
Who's your favorite performer
every night
that you've ever seen? Any one of the guys that you've seen, who would you say is your favorite?
Well, here's how I would answer that. I asked myself once, who is the performer that I had the most fun watching, and hearing? and that would be Hound Dog Taylor.
Oh, man. Well, yeah, primary influence.
I've seen Muddy Waters. I've seen Jimmy Reed. I've seen Magic Sam. I've seen a number of the really great artists, and they are great artists. Muddy was great, don't get me wrong.
Sure.
And they were all great, don't get me wrong. But it was just, I mean, to see Hound Dog in a small club playing the way he played, there was just not anything like it that I'd ever seen before. Hound Dog Taylor and the House Rockers were actually a little different. They didn't do the same turnarounds as everybody else. They didn't have the same groove everybody else had. They were different, but their stuff was really emotional. It would really get people up and dancing. It would really move people.
Well, that's amazing.
And I don't know that. And they were captured live, but I don't know that they were ever captured to perfection live.
Well, sometimes our memories work best in that anyway. You've got the memory in your head, and you can carry that around, and there's nothing that's going to touch that perfection that you heard when you saw them, you know?
That's true. I mean, there's a certain impression that an artist will leave on you that can last for your whole life. And those guys did that.
Well, I hope that everybody gets that same impression when they see you this weekend, Sunday afternoon at Maritime Park, Monday night at the Blues Jams and Lili Marlene's in Seville Quarter. Studebaker John, thank you so much for spending this time with me. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.